Alright, well, AEW Dynamite is in the books. I thought Dynamite was a great show. From start to finish. Um, yeah, and then we'll get there. And then there was a surprise title change. We'll get there later on, and I'll tell you my thoughts on it. But let's start this review. So, the story about MJF is that MJF turned off social media and had no contact with anybody who could tell him that Ellen was going to challenge MJF for the world title on this show. So MJF had no idea. So MJF was showing, riding in a truck, as Renee Paquette tried to tell him. Okay. Alright, so the story was that after Dynasty, MJF turned off social media and apparently had no contact with anybody who can tell him that Allen was going to challenge MJF for the world title on the show. So MJF was shown arriving in a truck as Renee Paquette tried to tell MJF that he had an AEW world title match tonight. MJF didn't know yet. MJF bragged about beating Hangman Page and Kenny Omega. Renee tried to tell MJF about Darby Allin, but Don Callis walked up to him, and MJF shook hands with him. Callis said sorry about Andrade, but it's going to be good. MJF thought Andrade beat Allin, so Callis filled in MJF that Allin won. MJF said that Andrade will not be championship material since he can't get the job done. Callis left. So Renee shouted at Max that Allin was the challenge for the world title. MJF swore and ran off. What's the challenge for the title like right now? So Darby Allin made his entrance, and he got a big pop in his home state. MJF walked out with the AEW World Champion. Well, this segment was great. MJF said he was going to go radio silent after his win at Dynasty. MJF was in a suit and a scarf. MJF said he doesn't want something to happen that isn't going to happen. MJF said he'll get his lawyer on the case. He'll sue the skank Audrey, sue Allen, sue that pervert Justin Roberts, sue Tony Khan, sue Warner Brothers Discovery, and sue the fans for deciding to live in a dumpster fire like Washington. Fans chanted, "Ring the bell." Max responded by saying, "Too bad." MJF said that his back hurts from wrestling close to an hour against Kenny Omega 3 days ago. MJF wondered how the company would look if he wrestled with an injury. And MJF said he was doing Allen a favor by not wrestling. MJF's microphone wasn't working, so he got a new one. See, so this is the story that they're telling. Is that his back was sore. So, kind of excited to see where this goes. And MJF told Allen he's very talented, he's a great underdog, but MJF said that the fans love Allen because he likes them since he's good, but not great. MJF said that, like the fans, Allen is not championship material. MJF told Allen he's not ready to be world, and Allen took the microphone, and there was Darby chants. Darby Allin said all it takes is one night to drop the wrestling world on its head. Allen said if he's not ready now, then he'll never be ready. Allen said he killed himself for this company. He taped posters around the city for tonight's show. He climbed Mount Everest and hung the AEW flag on top of that mountain. And it's probably still there. Allen said he's ready and he's been ready. Allen said his career started like 10 miles down the road. I just want to make sure that everything is working smoothly here before I continue. Okay, it's good. So I think that I'm thinking we can use the headset more often because it sounds better. Yeah, and Alan said his career started 10 miles down the road at the Buddy Wayne Academy. Alan took a deep breath took a deep breath at wrestling school, saying he's either going to make it or fail, but he won't change a single thing. And then Brian Danielson spoke from the commentating table, saying that he got a message from AEW owner Tony Khan. Danielson said Tony agrees with the MJF that it's unfair for MJF to wrestle when he's unprepared. Brian said that Tony would give Max plenty of time to prepare because the match will happen in tonight's main event. The fans cheered while MJF complained about it. The fans chanted yes for that. Brian said if Max refuses, then he'll be stripped of the title. See, MJF is a good storyteller. That's why I like MJF. They really need to do more storytelling in wrestling. Just saying. So this was awesome. And Allen told MJF that tonight in the main event he's beating MJF's artist with a headlock takeover. And then they showed Tony Schiavone talking to Kenny Omega after Dynasty. Omega didn't know what to say and said sorry. Will Ospreay was in the training room, so Omega and Ospreay talked. Will and Kenny both said they weren't feeling okay. Kenny says not how he pictured it. Not for either of them. Kenny said he felt like he let everybody down. And Will said that Kenny bounced back against Okada in the past. And Kenny said it was 10 years ago. And Will said he's been sad and crying for like the last 40 minutes, but his dream and ambition is to be the world champion one day. Will said he hopes Kenny hasn't given up on that dream and said he can do it. Omega said he's always got his back. Will shook hands with Omega and left, saying Omega was his hero. So the next match was Tommaso Ciampa, Desmond Xavier to open up Dynamite. This match went 9 minutes, but it was a solid match. Ciampa got the win. Man, Ciampa is just a night and day compared to what he was in WWE. He just looks like a star in AEW. Like what Triple H said, it's like they rely on those guys that they had for years, and then they don't build up new stars. Well, and AEW has plenty. And after the match, Ciampa did a promo saying that this was the example because he's sick of waiting. Ciampa said he wants it all. Ciampa said he came to AEW because this is where the best wrestler and he wants all the gold. Ciampa said if he's not making himself clear, Darby Allin and MJF, whoever wins, the Psycho Killer is coming for the AEW World Title. I mean, this would give some people some of his crazy moves in the match. They showed the past when MJF beat Allin with a side headlock takeover after using a Dynamite diamond ring. The video showed the part where MJF said he was going dark on social media and his phone because nobody is on the level of the devil. So MJF had no idea about the match until tonight. And then FTR cut a promo with Stokely, and I thought this was actually a really good promo. Dax and Cash made their entrance with Stokely. Dax said he has read and heard the chatter and the complaints. Dax said the FTR winning has made all of you angry. Dax claimed the fans were angry because they feel like they can relate to an underdog. Dax called the fans losers. Dax said they gave Adam Copeland and Christian a brush with relevancy and they couldn't get the job done. FTR said that Cope and Cage will never get a shot at those titles again as long as FTR are champions. Now, I don't think that's actually a stipulation. But, and then Stokely spoke, so the fans chanted no hose, and Stoke said he didn't need any because he has the tag team champions. Stoke claimed that the fans think they know everything, so clearly they know the story of David versus Goliath. Stoke said that FTR are Goliath. Stoke said that other tag teams in AEW are David's, and every time they step up to Goliath, they They got, yeah, they got crapped out. Stokes claimed they have no competition in AEW. Stokes said that Tony would reach out to CMLL and New Japan, but they will all fall to the giants that are FTR. And then Cash wanted the fans to do fans a favor by giving them a moment of silence. They did a 10-second pose as champions so the fans could do a photo. And then Cash did a middle finger salute to the fans. Yeah. The next promo was Kevin Knight versus Claudio Castagnoli for the TNT Championship. Kevin Knight is his newly crowned champion. And Kevin Knight has his own t-shirt now, so I guess he's over now. You know, he's made it when he has a t-shirt. This was an 11-minute match. It was a really good match to give Kevin Knight a quality win in his first TNT title defense. Claudio's adventured with credibility, so Knight beating him certainly makes Knight look like a credible champion. And he does lots of high-flying moves. Knight sells moves well. And yeah. And then Kevin Knight also did a promo saying that Claudio is one of the strongest dudes he's ever been in the ring with. Knight said he's looking good and feeling even better than the new TNT champion. Knight said that before he won this, they lost the AEW Trios titles the night before. Knight said he knows Speedball was upset about it. Knight spoke about how tonight we had MJF and Darby Allin for the World Tag Team title, for the AEW World title. Knight said he'll keep a close eye on that because Jet 2 belts sounds too fly. So that is another person that wants a shot at the AEW Championship. And then Chris Jericho did an interview. He made his entrance. He got a huge pop to the crowd. Jericho was asked how it felt to be in his first match back. Jericho said he felt so happy to be back in AEW, back in the ring at Dynasty. Jericho claimed that it was one of his favorite matches in a long time. Jericho doesn't think he lost because he was rusty. Said he was outnumbered 3-1. And then Jericho congratulated Ricochet, and then Ricochet came out with a demand. And Ricochet did some heel stuff. Then Jericho kept calling him bald, and then Jericho said wanted bald Ricochet to leave the two goons on the stage. Jericho wants Ricochet face to face right now, and then Jericho thinks Ricochet is too scared, too bald, so Ricochet went in the ring. So Jericho hit him with a hip toss and a clothesline. Then his buddies came in to help Ricochet, and yeah. So it looks like they are continuing with the Jericho and Ricochet feud. Which I'm sure Jericho will probably get some allies to fight the demand. Maybe the learning tree will get back together. And fight with the demand. I mean, I don't think they're really doing anything anyways. And then they did some post Dynamite Dynasty interaction with Konosuke Tatsuka, telling Don Callis that not helping Okada was an accident. Tatsuka sarcastically said he is so sorry. Okada yelled in Japanese. Callis called Okada, it's okay because it's his problem. So next was Will Ospreay versus Hechicero. This was a good match. They were really teasing in the match about Will Ospreay's neck. There's a spot in the match where Will got looked at by trainers, by the doctors, but he wanted to continue going. Then Will had a Styles Clash to get out of that. And then Will got back up and hit a hidden blade for the pinfall after 17 minutes. Will was really selling the left arm and shoulder injury very well throughout the match. And yeah, and Will Ospreay is also telling a story too about his neck and left shoulder injury. So if he does become a world champion one day, he can say he overcame the odds. And then after the match, Will Ospreay celebrated the win. Mark Davis of the Don Callis family went into the ring and clotheslined Will. And then Tekla did a promo, and this was awesome. I like this one. Tekla is very entertaining. She has a personality, for sure. Tekla, the AEW World Championship, and this will also be included in my top 5. So, yeah. So go out your way to watch that. She was in the crowd wearing her title, and she interrupted Renee Paquette talking about the entrance. Tekla bragged about how she beat the great Jamie Hayter. Tekla said you better get used to her as the AEW Women's World Champion. Tekla claimed that this industry is filled with dumb bees. And then Alec Windsor walked out to the ring saying she should beat up Tekla right now. Tekla trashed Windsor for being a dumb bee. Windsor said she is an NW New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong's Woman Champion. Alex said that Tekla was stupid enough to get herself fired from Japan and called her a silly tit. Tekla said she got fired. Tekla said she didn't. And then Tekla said she didn't get fired from Japan. But then she jokingly said, well, actually, yeah, I did get fired from Japan. But she got fired because they couldn't handle her. And when Winston challenged Tekla to a fight right now, Tekla said no. Winston suggested that Tekla put the title on the line on Collision, and Tekla was okay with that. So Sky Blue and Julia Hart tried to attack Windsor, but Windsor was ready and cleared from the ring. I actually like this segment with Windsor too. I'm not really familiar. I haven't really seen much of her matches, so I thought this was a great way to showcase, and I'm looking forward to their match tonight on Collision. Special time. I will do a review of Collision tomorrow at some point. Then SmackDown's tomorrow, and then it'll be WrestleMania weekend. And then John Moxley was backstage somewhere with the Death Riders. Mox talked about Will Ospreay saying he studied him. Marina walked in saying Will looked rough. Moxley said he doesn't take pleasure in the suffering of others, but he thinks that there could be beauty in it. Moxley prefers light over darkness. Moxley spoke about facing Nick Wayne on Collision. Moxley asked Willow, was like, who's this kid? Nick Wayne. So Moxley didn't know who Nick Wayne was, and he didn't know much about him, so he told Nick to surprise him. Moxley told Nick to leave his mom in the back since it's Continental rules. Moxley laughed about it. So next was the TBS Championship. Willow Nightingale versus Camille. The graphics said Camilla has won 6 out of 7 matches. They also paid her to stay at home since October 2024. Willow Nightingale retained. This wasn't the best match in the world, but I like Willow Nightingale, so I'm always going to rate it good. Yeah. Willow got a backslide pin, and Camille tried to kick out and wasn't able to, so Willow got the win. Camille was on the offense for about 80% of the match. Well, it's probably just to showcase her because people probably don't know who she is. The finish protected Camille since she didn't lose to Willow's finisher. And Camille looked impressive for sure, but I think personality-wise, they need to develop more of her as a character. And then Hikaru Shida and Chris Statlander, I guess they're a tag team now. She congratulated Willow on her win. She just said that she makes a great tag team with Chris, so they'll team up again on Collision. Shida left and Chris said nothing. Not a big fan of this. I like Shida, but I'm not a big fan of them tag teaming. Especially after Chris Statlander was main eventing, was world champion and main eventing. So Darby Allin was shown backstage with Renee Paquette, who wanted some pre-match thoughts. Sting showed up in his mask, white hair. Allin said if Sting has anything for him. Sting said that Allin knows what to do out there. Sting said Allin knows what to do. Sting said it's showtime, like Sting used to say, and Sting told Allin it's your time. The fans were fired up. Allin left for his bench. He made his entrance. And he got greeted by some family and friends at ringside since he's from Washington. And so this match was only 2 minutes. But a lot of people are saying that MJF got buried. I don't think so. Not even close. But these are coming from people who don't actually watch the product every week. So, the crowd was behind Allin with a have him up. Darby chants MJF gave the referee Audrey Iber his diamond ring, saying that he forgot to take it off. So she turned her back and MJF kicked Allin in the groin with a low blow. Allin sent MJF into the ropes near the referee and hit an uppercut low blow. Allin hit a scorpion death drop like Sting. Allin went on top and hit a coffin drop. He hit a second coffin drop and he hit a third coffin drop. Allin jumped off the top with a fourth coffin drop on MJF. He did a side headlock takeover and hooked the legs with a pinfall win. Because, see, they did this cleverly. Because, MJF lost a match before in a few minutes, and it did not hurt him. And they are telling a story here about the headlock takeover, because MJF beat Allin twice with that side headlock takeover and hooked the legs for the pinfall win. So now it's Darby Allin's turn, and yeah, but then now MJF could go on, he's already on social media, asking fans to have justice for him, pleading, they're making a big story out of this, which they should, because they are telling a story. And I'm looking forward to seeing the promo work that's going to be done. MJF is going to have, he's going to go off on the promos, off on everybody. It's going to be great. And I'm looking forward to it. Because, this is not bury him, because MJF is the star. He's a megastar, and I think at this point, no matter what happens, he's always going to be a star. So, and then Darby Allin celebrated with the AEW World Champion. A little graphic was shown on the screen. The babyface wrestlers AEW went into the ring and celebrated with Allin. Sting made his way out, and the fans were going wild for the Stinger. Allin continued to celebrate as new world champion, and that was the end of the show. And Darby Allin isn't original. And this is surprising because they don't normally do title changes on a TV show. They usually do it on pay-per-views instead of like a world title. But and another thing MJF could say too, because his back was sore from the Kenny Omega match, like he wasn't 100%, he had no idea. Like he could go on, like he can make a story out of it. And that's why I'm looking forward to this. Because, yeah, it's going to be good. And I really like this episode of Dynamite because they were telling stories. I really got invested in this. So, yeah. So, WBL and MJF's reign ended at 109 days. And Alan, after watching this guy put his body on the line for the past 7 years, he's somebody who's earned the respect of the fans. He's not a big guy, but he's definitely of a babyface with a big heart, and that's what makes him likable as a wrestler. I'm happy for him. I'm not sure Alan needs a long title reign. I mean, MJF would probably get the title back, I'm assuming, because this would probably lead up to. So, like, like this Darby Allin character reminds me of Mick Foley, Mankind. You know, he did bumps after bumps, but never got the title. And then Mick Foley finally got the title, and then everybody was happy for him. And Mick Foley didn't have the title long either. So, yeah. So this was done right in my books. So it just kind of brings back to, yeah. And Mick Foley, no matter how many times he lost, he was still over. So MJF will probably get the title back, maybe at like double or nothing. So the stars of the show was MJF, Darby Allin, and for me personally, I like the Thekla promo, so yeah. So there was a lot of things on the show that were great. I really enjoyed this show. And that's my thoughts on Dynamite. I was hoping to be on this weekend. I'm going to be on this weekend, but I was hoping to have like a big stream, but yeah, that's not going to happen, so we'll have to wait for that. But when I get it back on with my friend, we're going to have lots to talk about. So, yeah, so let me know what you thought about Dynamite. I thought Dynamite was a stellar show. And Collision's on tonight, so I'll do a review for that. I'll watch that, do a review, and yeah, I'm going to be playing some Final Fantasy tonight. Hopefully it doesn't take me as long as last night. Oh, that was long. But until then, I will see you in the next video. Bye.